Ladies and gentlemen, 6 o'clock has arrived. It is time to call to session the regular meeting of Dubois City Council. And at this time, I would like us to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm standing for silent prayer and meditation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for the moment of silence. Dear Lord, as we come together tonight, may the words of our mouth, the meditation of our heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. And while I have your attention, dear Lord, let us think about Sam Malika's sister-in-law as she passed away recently, and keep her and welcome her into your heavenly home. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Thank you very much. At this time, we will have the roll call.
Spears.
Here.
DeRouge. Here. Malika.
Here.
Piccirillo.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
Whitaker.
Here.
Abbott.
Here. At this juncture, we have the following announcements to be made. The mayor wishes to make 6 announcements before we turn it over to any other announcements by our management team. Number 1, the city council members will conduct the interviews for the new city manager. Any council member that wants to participate, you are willing to do that. The first rounds of interviews will be held in executive sessions. When we narrow the candidates down, we would like to bring them to the public for meet and greet. The second thing on your agenda tonight, there will be a discussion about reducing the speaking time to a grand total of 5 minutes or less. And at that same time, we do expect that people act respectfully and you treat each other as guests. And thank you very much for that. My third announcement is, since it's the couple days after my 75th birthday, I am going to request that our citizens try very hard to say something positive and tell us what good is happening in our city. We have a lot of good things going here, folks. There are a lot of us working very hard to bring new people, to bring jobs, to bring others into our community. It doesn't matter whether it is downtown Dubois. It doesn't matter whether it's at Showersfield or Sternfield. It doesn't matter if it's at the mall. It doesn't matter if it's at Treasure Lake. It doesn't matter if it's at Sebula. We are a one community. We are one for all. And I am asking each of you to celebrate my 75th trip around the sun to offer a positive comment as you come to our board meetings. It will go a long way in a selling point when we go out and talk to people about moving into our community. And I really appreciate that. If you cannot come and make that comment, send it to me. Find my email, send it to me. We are doing what we are handed with. This is April. We have been in session since January 5. We are working our butts off. trying to make our community a better community. Whether it is police, whether it is our public works, whether it's our administrative staff, whether it's our council, and whether it is you, the people of our community. My heartfelt message is, let's make this a positive event. Thank you. That will be a great birthday present. My next question is, or my next comment is, what would you, as members of the public, like to see in a manager? What would you do to change our attitude from where we were to a positive attitude again? I need your help. We need your help. Again, when we started this back in January, we started with the word we. We need your help. We need your input. We need your positivity. We are all growing in this thing together. Please send me an email how you would change our city into a positive city. My next is a very special. On April 22nd, your council, along with the management team, our administrative team, have been notified that we have won a state award. I will let our manager speak more to that when that time comes. And I think that is a wonderful step in the right direction. My last comment is, when we have presenters, tonight we have 2 people that are making presentations. It is for the council's knowledge. It is not open for a question and answer by the public. The comments by the presenters are a presentation for our knowledge to see if we want to move forward, leave it alone, or kick it right off the agenda. So if you want to take notes, if we bring the presenters back again and we open it up for question and answer from the public at that time, please bring your notes with you. As of now, I just need to tell people, for example, Cole tonight is going to make a presentation. And again, it is not a question and answer period. So with that being said, let me see what I have here. I am going to go to an executive session will be held immediately following our meeting. I do not want you people from the public to think we 7 people in our management team are rude. But if we get up and leave the room, we're going to an executive session. So, public comments and responses. Let me take a little gander here and see if I can read the names. On agenda items, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I thank the people that filled out the agenda for public comments, because one of my things was going to say, tell us briefly what you want to talk about. That way, when you speak for 5 minutes and you get to the end, we go, oh, I remember what they wanted to talk about. So thank you very much. Our first speaker at this time is Debbie Meckling. If you would please come to the microphone. Debbie, you have public comments. Would you give us a hint what you're going to speak about?
Oh, I had written it down. I wanted to talk about the public comments.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. Debbie Meckling, Monroe Street, Dubois. In the spirit of positivity, Barry, this is your birthday present. It is great to see so many people at the meetings. They care about what's going on in our community and they want to be a part of the process. In regards to resolution 2026-032 concerning the public comment during council meetings, The definition of transparency is the capacity of outsiders to obtain valid and timely information about the activities of local government. The public is not being made to feel welcome to question, comment, or criticize what goes on in these meetings. Unfortunately, many issues have arisen over the years because of information not being disclosed in a timely manner, which has resulted in council being reactive instead of proactive, which has been an ongoing issue. You certainly can understand why we, the taxpayers, are disgruntled with what is going on when we are the ones footing the bills. The residents of our city have lost faith in our leaders. It is going to take time to build back trust. You as council need to be patient and answer a few questions in the interim. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've heard the word transparency since January. If we were any more transparent, we would be buck-ass naked up here in front of you. That's about the long and the short of it, and I say that very seriously. We have hid nothing. Ben Kaplan has laid the plans out. He has taken the fall for things that occurred. He has apologized, and he has worked to fix it. So I am just offering that analogy. We have zero, nothing, nada to hide. If you were referring to past councils, we can't help that. That's the past. But Debbie, thank you very much. Your comment is well received. Let me get this right now, because Marla Cersei,
Oh, you did great.
did I get it?
Yes, you did.
Thank you very much,
Very
Marla.
good.
And you want to talk about sewer water rates and zero usage.
That was
We're-
the
we're
second
close
thing,
enough.
but I can speak with that first, doesn't
Okay.
matter. I
Thank
just
you very
wanted to go
much.
on the record because I have property I own and I have 3 rentals. And in paying the bills, I get to see City Sandy, City, all that, now that we're consolidated. My concern was they're able to give me the bill when there was a problem to find out exactly how much is used each day. So I could see one day, hey, there was something that they flushed their hot water tank was 500 gallons. Kept running. Okay, I can understand that. But they can pinpoint it goes down to 20 gallons another day. So for that whole month, they ran it for me. I got the numbers yesterday. I was like, oh, this is awesome. My tenant that's been away because of family reasons, and again, I just want to go on the record because I know you're already trying to resolve the sewer issues. But if she was actually gone and my bill actually says 0 usage in 28 days, the sewer bill says 0 usage in 28 days. Yet she's paying $16, which is neither here nor there, but then it's ×3 for sewage treatment, basically. So 0 times 3 to me should be 0. There was no water treated. That just seems common sense in a way. That there must be a way going forward that they can look at daily usage instead of just 1,000 gallons. And mine can be 1,010 and it jumps up to 2,000 gallons. And I understand that because they fixed it over there yesterday. The 2 bills were identical. We both used 1,000 gallons, yet they charged me 2,000 for treatment. And the other person was charged 1,000. So they went ahead and fixed that bill saying, because I just happened to look at it saying, this is odd. We're always the same amount. And I know human error, things happen, programs happen, but just going forward, my recommendation is if we can get daily the usage. So if someone at Treasure Lake, for example, might be gone 6 months, are they paying 0, like the same minimum water usage ×3 sewage usage for 6 months?
That answer is 0, because Treasure Lake's on a completely different
Oh,
system.
all right, I'm just using
Yeah.
somebody with my,
Yeah.
and the reason I say that is I don't know too many people in town that say I'm going to Florida for 3 months or 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Where I know some folks that lived out there say, hey, I'm going down, I'll be back in the
I
spring.
got you.
So that was just a concern of mine, just to have it on the record, like, is there some way we can, if we can, and we have the ability to pinpoint daily usage, can we be charged for what we use and for daily usage? Whether it be water or sewer instead of these 1,000 minimums. If I'm 1,005 gallons, I'm up to 2,000 gallons usage. So,
Okay.
and then the other big thing was, if I'm allowed to still talking, well, I don't want to go over my time. I had actually am representing in a way 11 residents that live on my street on Quarry
Thank you for
Avenue.
doing that. Thank you. Yes.
I didn't think you'd want all 11 here. But that being said, there's a lot of heavy traffic, as everyone knows, and sometimes that being out of sight, out of mind, that side of town, if there's one house in town that's deplorable, somebody says, wow, we gotta tear that down, that is terrible. Well, I actually had the neighbors come to me because there's 7 total houses in one stretch. 304 on that side, 306, 308, 310. Then on the other side, 305, 7, and 9. So basically it goes to 304 to 310. That whole section is not only just overgrown with weeds inside the houses. I've walked recently and there's like critters or stuff, there's noises in the houses. For real, that there's, and that's daylight.
Okay.
I'm not talking nighttime raccoons and stuff. But also some of it now has become such a safety hazard. When you're down along the creek bank and look up, one of the houses is listing so dipped badly to the left. It's on cinder blocks, vertical cinder blocks, the back end. It's not horizontal cinder block. So as that's bowing out, that's gonna blow. And I don't wanna see anybody get hurt. As far as I know, like I said, there are some kids in the neighborhood, but we're more concerned with being that it could, God help if there's a fire or something, or somebody being mischief. But also with drugs and stuff, we don't know who's in these dilapidated buildings that seem unowned and unkept. I don't know that detail. We were saying just safety concerns and the danger, but we also know that with that road itself, because there was heavy cement trucks where they're doing the construction for the new sewer plant, they were every half hour, big cement trucks, and that road's got really squished down. There's a lot of potholes, as you must all know that ever traveled Quarry Avenue. We have fire trucks that go on that. I'm not so concerned about the patching and stuff, because I've had the cold patch put on where I park my cars off by my garage. I have cold patch all over my vehicle where it sprays up, and I'm picking it off all over my vehicle. And that's not the major concern. It's the danger across the street from 313 by 316 on my dad's old property. There's a guardrail up now. And someone, and God bless our city crews, they did a fabulous job this year. But where they plowed, it went against the guardrail, and there was easily a 4-foot drop, and there's a car that went into that and slid about 15 feet, and it hit the end, thank God, where my dad's mailboxes were, and it hit the handrail, so that's broken. And my tenant did say that the city pulled them out. Well, the problem was the handrail guardrail, but my concern is there is zero berm.
Thank you.
School buses go on that road, and if they go over a little bit, there is no side of the road. You are dropping 4 feet into the guardrail, which would make the bus tumble. It's that, and have a chance to go down and take a drive. It's very bad.
And thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, point well taken. Thank you. Next. Kristen Knight.
So I just wanted to echo Deb Meckling's comments.
Name and address.
Kristen Vida, 929 Chestnut Avenue.
Thank
So I agree with what Deb did say. You know, I really struggle with public comments, and I have for several years, and I have voiced my concerns to management at times, as well as certain council members, both past and present. Depending on who's on council and who's in the, I think in the mayor's seat, you know, sometimes I think that, you know, comments are a little more lax, or at least the requirements seem a little more lax. And then a few months later, you know, they're, you know, we tighten them up again. And I feel like when people are speaking out of turn or speaking for a long time, or maybe up here talking about things that have nothing to do with council, okay, that they need to be, you know, told, I'm sorry, but this has nothing to do with city council business, and you need to sit down. And instead of doing that, we allow those people to go on, and I feel that's why we are now trying to limit some of the public comments that are occurring. And so I am disappointed that we are limiting now, reducing the amount of time overall that people have. One of the things I feel that this does not address, even though you did speak about it, Barry, was the public presentations. Again, that has gone back and forth. You know, Shirley has presented on the downtown group, and we've asked questions of her during the public presentation. The people come about the timber sales. We, as a public, have been able to ask them questions. They've been good questions. Now, the last time we had a presenter on the pension, I wanted to ask questions and I was told no. Okay, it had to be done either before or after. Well, I didn't know exactly what the information was that was going to be presented, which leads into my final comment is about the sign up sheet. There's a lot of times I look at the agenda and I'm like, there's nothing I need to comment on, right? But then after listening to you or listening to the managers, I think to myself, oh, I want to ask a question, but then I'm denied that opportunity because I didn't sign up. And I don't think that's right. I really don't. And I hope that you reconsider that. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Can I make a comment?
Sure thing.
A good idea would be, seriously, put your name on the agenda, you can always take it off.
And that is true, but some people come in late though too. And I think some people
That we
are
can't control, but that
intimidated
was a
if they don't.
suggestion for you early
Right, thank you.
attendees.
And actually, we did have a gentleman come in late and he asked to speak and we did leave him speak, if you remember. And I do not remember cutting anybody off.
I was, but that's okay. But that's okay at the last meeting. That
Thank
was
you.
my last comment, but thank you.
Kim Colo, you have the microphone. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, no. Kim Cole, 3227 Bay Road. So I'm Kim Cole, I'm a small business owner and a property owner in downtown Dubois. Sorry. I have close to 20 years of commercial real estate property management experience. I have a master's degree from Johns Hopkins in real estate infrastructure. I have co-authored a textbook with my dad on real estate development. And I have written and taught several real estate classes to multiple organizations. Additionally, I have personally managed several buildings that were within business improvement districts previously. And so this comment obviously is about the business improvement district presentation we're going to hear. So based on my experience, I'm well aware of the pros and cons of those districts and designations. And knowing what I know about them, it is completely not feasible and unviable to put a business improvement district in Dubois and downtown Dubois. The additional cost is just going to further squeeze the small businesses. In our building downtown, we have almost all small businesses in our building. In the last 3 months, we've seen a 33% increase in your water rates, 15% increase in property taxes. In the last year, natural gas rates went up by over 18%, and electricity rates for some contracts doubled. So these are just basic operational costs, right, for small businesses. This is just for them to stay open. These costs are ever increasing, as we all know, right? Additionally, there are already programs in place through Downtown Dubois Inc. organization and through the Pennsylvania Department of Economic and Department of Community and Economic Development that's out there. So there's money available, there's programs available. It's just about connecting the right people, right resources, that we do not need to have the additional fee set on Downtown Dubois. Truly, sorry, I'm a little congested here, so I'm running out of breath. Truly, to add an additional targeted tax, right? This is a targeted tax on a specific district. To add this targeted tax on the most vulnerable small businesses in downtown Dubois is the absolute antithesis of economic development and growth. So I look forward to hearing this presentation, but I encourage you to reject the proposal of the creation of any business improvement district at this time. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Kathleen Clement, and it says you live in the city and you have comments on.
I actually, I'll put my name down in case I wanted to make a comment.
Okay.
But my comment is, I'll wait until after BID gives their spiel, if I'm allowed to talk after the spiel. Is it before and after?
I'll tell you what I'll do. I will give you a little check mark where it says second comment.
Thanks.
You're welcome. No problems. Management team, they were requested to give, public responses to some questions and sir, you're on, Mr. Kafka.
I'll start off with a couple of the more easy ones. First of all, at the last meeting, someone that gets their water, Dubois city water, but through Sykesville, was asking why they were getting essentially double billed from Sykesville and the city. We can confirm that that was an error, and we've credited those people who are in the process of doing so. So that's fixed. We had someone brought up about senior discounts, particularly for trash collection, whether, if the senior discount translated from the old city to the new, the answer is yes. And if you are a senior and you want to be on that list of people that get the reduced senior discount, we are not clairvoyant. You need to come to us and tell us that you're a senior. We cannot go back in time, but if you come to us now, we can put you on the list most immediately, but we don't know what your age is unless you tell us. Next,
What's the age? I heard a question. What was the age? 60?
62 and no one,
Hello?
62 and no one employed full-time in the household.
I qualify, except I don't live in the city. Got
Yes,
it.
you do.
Oh, yes, I do live in the city.
Wow.
Thank you very much. See, I told you we'd turn this into a positive. Okay, thank you. Our comedy hours will bet, go ahead.
there was a general comment that we need to be applying for grants. We do apply for grants. And every month we have a monthly report that's submitted by the redevelopment authority, that's on the agenda, publicly available for all the grants that we're pursuing.
And that is all found on the website.
It's all, yes, if you go to the agenda section of the website and look at any of the second meetings of the month, you will see department reports. And so if you want to know something about zoning or planning or fire or community and economic development, you will find the grants there. I wanted to apologize for anyone that felt like they were not treated well when they were complaining about their water bills and such. I know Lisa, at the end of the meeting, last meeting, said, we're sorry for that. It's a challenge for these staff that are getting asked the same question over and over and over. It's not an excuse, but I suppose an explanation. The numbers do matter to us. They are what makes up your bill, and I get it. If you don't understand it, tonight we even had already a public comment about that. So I'll be explaining a little bit more about specifically the water usage bills and how that's going to be calculated in the future. I acknowledge the system that we inherited wasn't good. Couple that with the fact that the Sandy system and the city system smashed together was a train wreck. I totally acknowledge that it is not ideal. We are working through it. But the numbers do matter to us, and I'm sorry if anyone felt, shrugged off or something like that. About the roundabout, again, I think there was some push for the council to do something about the roundabout. The council cannot really do anything about the roundabout. It is PennDOT's project. And then Lisa wanted to address some of the questions related to the pension system.
So there was some questions asked by members of the community and also by council regarding the city's pension plan. And it's been repeated that the pension plan is not funded, and that is simply not true. We are consistently paying the MMO, that is the actuarial calculation that is required by the Commonwealth, by pension law. We pay into that every single year the amount that is deemed necessary. And so the plan is funded. There is no you are all aware that there was a point in time where that pension plan was moved to a 90% contribution somewhere in 2012. So that created a position where the plan is not 100% funded, but it is in the 60% range funded. I think it's 63%. And that because of the benefit that will provide to those who retire with that benefit, that was realized under audit that that's not allowable by pension law, but there's not going to be a benefit taken away from people that have received it. And so that benefit was taken away for anyone hired after a certain date in 2013. So as that occurred, so now we have anyone hired after 2013 that falls under a new benefit structure in the pension plan. And while the pension plan is funded in the 60-some% range, it is not distressed. I want to make sure that everyone understands that the Commonwealth does not consider the pension plan distressed, and that's because it's being funded. So I just wanted to be clear about those questions about the pension plan. And my door and my phone and my email is always open. I will never deny a question. I will always seek out the answer. So if anybody wants to talk about this more, I welcome. I love talking about money. So let's just sit down and have a conversation anytime you like.
Any comments on the board about pensions?
Lisa, it's being funded, correct?
Correct.
Being funded, yeah. Yet there is the element unfunded at the current time, but you are
Not
obviously being funded.
it's might be underfunded, but it's not unfunded.
Thank you for using that word.
Yeah.
Yes, if what's happening now, it's being funded, yet that does remain, it is underfunded.
Yeah.
Is there any other municipality in the state that offers a 90% retirement?
It's not lawful.
I couldn't find it, so, thank you. Kristen, I know you brought that up. Do you have any questions that you would like to address that to Lisa? Which, you brought the question
Yeah.
to the
Oh,
floor.
right, no,
And-
I do have, yeah,
Do you want to talk to her afterwards, or do you want to,
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
certainly, thank you.
thank you, I thought I'd make that offer. Thank you very much. Ben, back to you.
I believe that's it. There may have been other comments, but we dealt with them pretty much then in the meeting. Or grabbed the person after the meeting.
Bill, that was your
Yeah.
concern.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I had for Lisa is I know everybody seen when they were here that we are 6 million and some change short in the pension fund. We need to come up with a solution, or the new manager needs to come up with a solution how we're going to take care of that to get that funding. I think that's where there was a big misnomer that people were scared of. They see that, and it's factual. I mean, but it wasn't our council. It was years prior. I don't know what they did, but we need to get to the bottom of it to get it figured out, to get it taken care of, shored up. It's just like the lady said about the house falling in. Well, this pension plan's falling in a little bit. We need to come up with $6 million to figure out how to make sure it stays solvent.
Well, the ways that you do that is paying more than the minimum municipal obligation. The other ways that you do that is through investment strategy, and it has not been invested in a strategy that works in the past, because you had an 8% actuarial assumption, and so that was creating a what's the word I'm looking for?
Deficit.
Yeah, and I was gonna say a little better than that. And so the other thing is the pension plan will always be paid. So if we had a mass retirement and all the money that was invested was gone, the city starts writing checks, because it is an obligation that the city is required to live in perpetuity until those retirees pass on. Or whatever the benefit is deemed in the contract. And so the pension will get paid. So so.
We just don't know where.
This is not something that needs to be corrected in the next year or even 2 years. I mean, we
It
have.
definitely requires a plan, and no, you're not gonna dump
I
$6
mean, to be,
million.
to be
That tax,
100%
all those
funded.
taxes that everyone's complaining about, you will be raising that up, because that's the way that the pension plan gets funded.
But we need to keep it on the radar. We
Along
just
with
can't
state
sweep it
aid.
under the rug.
Right.
We need to,
Right. It is
Make sure we
always
take care
on the
of it.
radar.
yeah.
Correct. I really appreciate the give and take on that. And Kristen, thank you for bringing that up. So, whatever you want to do with Lisa at the end, that's wonderful. I think that was a very good discussion back and forth. It shows that our council is willing to listen to your concerns. We're ready to go into the consent agenda, and unless any board members have something that they want to add to the agenda, I'll call on Ben for comments and some of the things he wants to talk about.
This will be pretty brief. There are the two items on correspondence are mostly FYIs, but by voting on the consent agenda, you'll approve them. In short, businesses and such have to pay unemployment tax. Municipal governments do not. We can reimburse the state directly for unemployment claims. For whatever reason in the consolidation, that got flipped and changed, unfortunately. So the form that I filled out is going to get us back in the unemployment compensation trust and set up with the state correctly as a municipal government. But again, since they both require that council be aware. And then the waste management services, that was one of the public comments that came out of last meeting. So Ed, I don't know if you want to say anything about that particular briefly, but this is kind of the response to the public comment.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to go to the podium?
No, because it'll be brief, right?
Hi, everybody. I'm Ed Garner from Waste Management. I'm a garbage man and recycling man. Nice to have to be here. Thanks for having me. So folks, I can honestly tell you in the city of Dubois, you are one of the few communities that do not have a garbage or recycling problem. Waste Management has a comprehensive program for everything, for every resident in the city of Dubois. And really proud of the fact that we provide to all of our residential customers, not only the traditional waste and recycling that you normally have, also all of your appliances, white goods, electronics, televisions. Okay, one of the few communities in central Pennsylvania and western Pennsylvania that we actually come in every month to take every television, computer, any type of peripheral, printers at no cost. Take them away. A 32-inch tube television, we all probably had when we bought at Montgomery Ward's. Those things cost us about 90 cents a pound to recycle. So every one of those we get rid of costs us about $100, $110. We do those for unlimited in the city at no cost. So it's a comprehensive program really put together to ensure that everything that you may generate in your households can be handled responsibly. And it's really a good program. We can always enhance it, make it better. And one of the things that we do, yes, we are the contractor for the city. I provided the city with many of the things that we do, just kind of an executive level approach to looking at the services we provide. We provide services to the city at no cost. All the containers at the city buildings, the parks, any type of fields that the city may have, the leaf collection that we provide to the city. Okay, the bulk cleanups that we do twice a year, plus the monthly bulk cleanup that we do at the city garage. Most of those services, we contract with other cities for. Well over $200,000 to $300,000 a year we bill them for that service. They're all provided here at no cost. So you got a great program, a good one. We can always enhance it, always make it better. So be happy to listen to anyone that wants to get together and talk about it. Always willing to talk a little trash with anybody. And I'd love to do that. Most importantly, when you're dealing with someone as a contracted hauler, the city has very high standards. And the standards are, we have to have a bonded contract, we have a performance bond in place. Something happens with WM, you have a bond that we actually issued to the city. You can take that bond and hire anybody you want, as many people as you want to get that job done, until WM figures it out. So that's a big plus in the right direction. We also have comprehensive liability insurance. Something goes wrong in the city, we do make mistakes, things go wrong with weather, okay, that sort of thing. We're responsible for it. And we take care of it immediately. So those are very important things for the city that you don't have to worry about. And happy to talk to anybody at any time. So thank you. Anything else?
Thank you.
And I do have a question. Well, actually, two things. Could you have your drivers, I know now that they're lifting the trash cans up by the arm, but I see more garbage on the roads. When they're lifting them up, they're not paying attention, driving down.
Hey, thanks for letting me know that.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
appreciate
you
it.
know, I think they're getting a little more comfortable with just the lifting and going. And there's a lot more garbage, and I'd like to see that get cleaned up, because I think it's a great idea, you know, we keep the garbage in, you know.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I'm so happy you told me because there are times where that has happened. I always encourage people to bag their garbage, and one of the nice things I like since COVID is giving people carts. We're doing more and more of that. We'll send that to the rest of the city. So you don't have to touch the stuff. You can put it out, protects the homeowner, protects the collector, right? Thanks for telling me that. Yeah,
And the other
absolutely.
thing is I had some citizens call me, they tried to call the local number and no answer.
Yeah,
So could you do a quality check on that to see
Absolutely.
what's going on?
absolutely. We're in website development for the city as well.
Okay,
So we talked about that. You'll have your own website through WM with a portal for people to utilize and conduct services, leave comments, requesting. So yes, absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You comment. Thank you, Ben. I think
I think that's it, ready to move on to the presentations, and by way of introduction,
you don't
for,
want to do the governor's report thing?
I want to do that in the next meeting, if that's all right.
Thank you very much. I didn't mean to.
Oh, I'm sorry, you need to do your vote on consent agenda.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve
Second.
consent, second by Bill. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same. Motion passes. Ready to move on to special presentations. And Ben, if you would do.
I would like to introduce a couple quick things. First of all, one of the comments at the last meeting was that we are not operating on a strategic plan. And I just wanted to highlight again that the city did pass a strategic plan that we walked through at the beginning of the year. And that's why last time we had that presentation about stormwater ordinance, why we've been talking about emergency services and then community and economic development planning, doing a capital improvement plan, and doing a business improvement district. Among other things, as you can see. And so what I wanted to highlight is that one of the things that this council has asked us as a management team to do is to obviously plan to implement that strategic action plan. And there are two presentations that you're about to listen to, probably about 20 minutes each, that are sort of an update on two of those really critical components. One of them is your capital improvement plan. We came up with what I'll call a capital improvement schedule in order to do your budgeting for this year. But when it really comes to what's the strategy for fixing your buildings, maintaining your stuff, we decided to lean on Siemens, which is why Cole Boget is here. And he will be presenting his findings, having walked all of your facilities, looked at the fire departments and everything but this building since it was just renovated. And then I will introduce. Yes, right, not the sewer plant for obvious reasons, same reason. And then I'll turn it over to Lisa Schaefer after Cole in order to talk about business improvement districts and why that could be helpful for your community. So with that, I'll turn it over to Cole. It's plugged in.
You want a controller or you can handle that?
Oh, did I take your controller?
I gave you the little clicker thingy.
I'm sorry. Make sure it works. Cool.
Okay.
Here you go.
Thanks, man. Hello, everyone. I appreciate the chance to talk a little bit this evening. So my name's Cole Boge. I know everyone's been announcing like where they're from. I'm not from Dubois. I live outside of Pittsburgh and Plum, but I am originally from Warren, Pennsylvania. So I'm kind of from out this way a little bit. So I'm an account executive at Siemens within a specific business unit called sustainability. It's a small ESCO group or an energy services company that operates under the Guaranteed Energy Savings Act in the state of Pennsylvania. It allows us to do total facility solutions and guarantee certain savings and outcomes for public entities, whether that's utility savings, and other, certain outcomes. We're in very early stages, as Ben mentioned, doing a facility condition assessment at no cost to the city. It's kind of our initial step. If we do decide to move forward from here, there would be an investment grade audit and potential implementation suggestions, but I want to kind of quickly run through what we've discovered so far, and specifically with Scott's help throughout the process. In keeping with Mayor Abbott's request, general observations for me are usually positives. So there are a wide range of facilities within Dubois. I go to a lot of different, localities, and you guys have a lot of things that you should be proud of as far as physical assets, the parks, the fire stations, the different buildings. It's a very unique, complex mixture of facilities. The facilities team, I think, has done an exceptional job managing these facilities. Scott and his team really understand what's going on at these buildings, have done a great job kind of upkeeping them, and they've been operated with really great care and attention over time. And the leadership team, I mean, the things that I haven't talked to everybody yet, but the people I have talked to really do seem to care about improving the things within the county. I mean, you look at the sewer project, the upgrades that are going on in the city. There's just a lot that everybody is doing right now to advance things. Lastly, we do think the city would benefit from a collaborative partnership such as an entity like Siemens for both current and future building projects, because we can kind of do some unique things within the legislation that's available within the state of Pennsylvania, which I can get into later if you guys have further questions. But getting a little bit more specific, but still kind of high level findings across multiple facilities, the need for centralized controls, giving Scott and his team more insight and control over managing certain facilities, both digitally and from a distance. So they're not running around having to manually control how facilities function and operate. And that's everything from, some lighting setbacks to, time of day settings for heating and cooling. There's a select amount of mechanical equipment, not everything. I mean, really, there has been some equipment that's been updated more recently that doesn't need attention, but there are some buildings that have mechanical equipment that's at or beyond its useful life. The lighting upgrades, you will kind of see that as a common theme sort of throughout. The thing worth highlighting there is does lower the cost of running these facilities, but also allows you to get rebates from the utility companies when you do these lighting upgrades. Security systems are, things that could be looked at or implemented across multiple facilities. We did talk about some modern renewable energy applications, EV charging stations, maybe at some of the parks that could generate some revenue. I mean, you think about the tournaments and things that come to the ball fields. And if you know anybody that has an electrical vehicle, when they're traveling, they're thinking ahead of time about where they need to charge up. And why not make it one of your facilities or assets? Lastly, we do think it would benefit having a third-party advisor moving forward with regard to planning and construction activities for the fire stations. Right now, my understanding is it's not quite resolved, but I do think the city would benefit from an energy partner or some sort of entity to advise on how to help moving forward. Try and keep moving here. Did this die on me?
Oh, I don't know.
Or maybe it...
For now.
Okay, I'm going to try and keep it moving here. So this is just a general list of all the facilities that we evaluated. I'm not going to really touch on the RDA. We did look at those buildings, but it's kind of a separate entity, a separate subject for a different day. And then I've grouped them as like kind of core facilities and then fire stations, just for my own brain. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody else. But really, the facilities are in pretty good shape. And I don't know if that came out in your capital improvement presentations, Ben, but there are some things that we need to start planning for towards the future. But the water treatment plant, the maintenance garage, and the water garage do have the most needs at this time. And then, as far as the fire stations, we looked at volunteers, we looked at Dubois, but then we kind of pulled up a little bit. We did look at some of the other ones, but I don't really know where things are going. My understanding is there's going to be some new buildings, maybe some consolidations, and we're happy to help with that as we go along. But and I'm going to kind of comment a little bit further. So this next chart is a little bit busy. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. If anyone wants a copy of these when I'm done from the board, I'm happy to send you a digital copy so you can review it. But our engineers put together what they call FIMS list, or facility improvement measures or energy conservation measures, that point out ways in which that buildings can either be improved or energy and costs can be saved. So you've got the category, mechanical, electrical, the description, and then the green blocks kind of indicate where the needs are. So that kind of corresponds, as you can see, with the facilities there. Most of your needs are within those three buildings, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more specifically as we go. We started to do something similar for the fire stations, as you can see, with volunteers and Dubois, but then we kind of took some notes and then stopped because it sounds like there might be some changes coming with the fire stations, but happy to do further evaluations. What's next here? Okay, so talking a little bit more specifically about the water treatment plant, some of the things that we identified, but also things that Scott had brought to our attention. There's a large air handler in the basement that's failed. That's one of several components contributing to the fact that there's no heat in the lower level of the water treatment plant. Does need some upgrades to automation and controls. You can see kind of an old thermostat there that's kind of rusted and manual. I think it would be great for Scott to be able to control, again, things more remotely and digitally. Some problematic electrical system layouts. I don't know if you can notice on that far right photo, you've kind of got a water distribution pipe that's rusting out. It's leaking water onto an electrical distribution setup that's not necessarily ideal.
You got a gutter right there.
But I will say, and I said this in the last meeting, and I'm a little like, I don't know if I should say it again, but I'm going to. Like, when you walk around that building, it's amazing, Scott. It's like very, very clean. These photos might not do it justice, but it like pops. You can see the shine. I think I said you could eat off the floor in there last time I was here, but I don't know if I would necessarily recommend that, but some other things. So this was actually one of Scott's ideas, but it's actually a specific division within Siemens, which is kind of a large engineering company that does a lot of different things. A possibility for a solar panel array out back. So Scott, I believe, who cleared all those trees? I don't know, but there's acres of trees that have been cleared, largely to prevent leaves from getting into the water treatment system itself. And we had talked about putting some solar in back there for any number of purposes, providing energy to the plant itself, or maybe doing that metering where you can send energy back to the grid and reap some financial benefit from that. So just some ideas. And lastly, you're going to see this pretty commonly throughout these facilities, the need for LED lighting retrofits, or to finish them. I think we had said maybe about 60 to 70% of the lighting had been upgraded there. And I do want to mention that's not something that like the facilities and maintenance team is fallen short on. It's very common to upgrade lighting as lights fail. And it's tough when you have a million things on your plate already to do a full scale lighting retrofit all at once. But it can have some great benefits, not only for your day-to-day utility bills, but rebates back from the utility companies, as I mentioned before. I know I'm talking fast, but I'm just, I don't know if I have 5 minutes, but I'm gonna try and keep it going. Okay, so the water and maintenance garages, which for those that don't know, are behind Memorial or City Park. I saw both labels, but I don't know which you guys call it here locally, but the top photo is actually the water garage, and on the left there's a much longer maintenance garage. I think that's kind of how Scott and his team reference it. Two very large facilities. There's a mixture of HVAC needs, more so heating and cooling needs, more so in the maintenance garage than the water garage.
I think the equipment in the water garage is a little bit newer, but there's kind of a mixture of how it's being heated and cooled. There's no automation or controls either. So it might be better to have kind of a unified system that's determined to be more efficient. As you can see, like that bottom left picture is a manual baseboard heating system. Anybody can just walk up to it and crank it up and, you know, cause issues as far as your bills are concerned. I mentioned no automation or controls, just being able to control the facility better and make it more energy efficient. Multiple building envelope issues or needs in those facilities as well. I think we mentioned or we identified both roofs could use replaced. The high bay garage doors on the water garage could be replaced. I don't, maybe that's changed since I was here last, but the exterior doors could use replaced. Kind of similar to building envelope, there's limited or compromised insulation in both buildings. So you can kind of see and that the one with the lighting. If you look towards the back of that photo there, that's newer insulation, but it's compromised. Maybe it needs to be replaced or kind of fixed up a little bit. And in the one on the more right-hand side, behind the ceiling hung heating fixture, you can see that the insulation there is much older, pretty damaged and worn, and that's kind of similar throughout that building. So you really want to make sure your building envelope and your insulation is good if you're going to have efficient and effective systems. We did note that there's a lack of outside air and ventilation in both of those facilities. With the bays being open, it may or may not be a critical problem, but we do recommend it, especially if you're working on heavy equipment in there. And again, you know, the lighting retrofits, I think about 50% had been done there. The 3 different parks and fields, so you got Showers, Memorial or City Park, and that's actually Juniata Lake up there. So Showers is actually in pretty good shape. I think the lighting had been updated there more recently, the turf had been updated there more recently, but it could be a potential site for some EV charging stations because there's ball tournaments that are played there, colleges, and I think some high schools play there. Again, if anybody has an electric vehicle, they're looking for somewhere to charge in town. And instead of them going to Sheetz or Walmart or wherever, why don't you just have them pay you guys to do it at your fields if that's where they're going? Now at City or Memorial Park, there are some LED lighting retrofits that need to be done there. We also talked about maybe some security measures, cameras, some access controls at certain areas that you may or may not want people coming freely in and out of, some outstanding building structure objectives. There potentially a new pavilion. There's an old bathroom there that's no longer being operated because a water line was damaged, and it'd probably be good for the public to fix that and make it operational or just get rid of it altogether. And I already mentioned the potential for EV charging stations. I guess the last comment is that top right corner is by Juniata Lake across from the hotel there. There's so much traffic going in there for people walking around the lakes or going to play golf or staying at the hotel. We identified an area near some electrical hookups to potentially put some EV charging stations in there to generate some revenue. Lastly, the fire stations. I know we kind of stopped short after looking at Volunteers and Dubois, but we did walk a lot of the other ones. I just didn't fully complete the analysis because there seems to be some flux in the planning. But with regard to both facilities really could use some HVAC upgrades because things are either at or beyond their useful life. I think at Volunteers specifically, the boilers are past their useful life. There's some cooling issues upstairs. You can actually, I don't know if it's been resolved since we were here, but in one of those photos, you can see a mini split in a for cooling and a window unit and a floor unit and a fan. Not super efficient, but you know, with some applications, things could be improved there. At Dubois, it's a little bit of a better system, but it's not zoned. It's single source, so there isn't a lot of control for how it's heated and cooled throughout the facility. We did note some structural damage for one of the suspended floors that hold up the trucks in, I believe it was Dubois. Again, limited building automation controls, aging building envelope, in particular at Volunteers, probably needs a new roof, some new windows, and again, lighting, LED lighting retrofits were needed. Now, my last comment on that was just we are interested in helping with whatever the plan is moving forward with the fire stations, but I'm probably at my time, and I'd be happy to come back to talk about this and maybe at a slower speed and and in more detail, but wanted to kind of show some things that we've discovered during our preliminary audit so far. That was probably a lot, but any questions?
Board members, I have a couple, just real quick.
Yeah.
We are faced with a dilemma where we have 5 fire companies coming into one.
Okay.
And you obviously looked at all the fire companies.
Mhm.
If you would take the 5, is there a particular fire station that stood out that would be more readily retrofitted than the others? And could we guarantee any savings if we went to a particular station?
To your second question, yes. So if you use an ESCO and through the GIZA legislation, the Guaranteed Energy Savings legislation, I think there's a little bit of a misconception from the name alone that it's only energy savings, but it can be operational cost savings, maintenance cost savings, repair savings, even like realized savings, like consolidating fire stations. If we can actually work with you and do an investigation to say, or an analysis to say, you're going to save X amount of dollars by consolidating these stations. If you use us in that legislation, we can guarantee that savings moving forward. And if you have more questions on what that means, as far as the guarantee, we just use state legislation that requires that to do these GIZA projects. So yes, to your second question. The first question, I don't know if I could pick one off right off the top of my head. The fire stations were in various conditions. Some I thought were, hey, this is pretty nice, but then that was just an addition that was really nice. And then you go to the other side, that's the older portion. It was a little bit like, well, there's a mixed bag, but we'd be happy to do that analysis with you. But I think the important thing is there is a lot of energy savings and cost savings to be had from a consolidation. And you can leverage not only an ESCO or the GIZA legislation to do that in an intelligent way.
Do you think it's cost prohibitive to reevaluate and rehabilitate one of those 5 stations or build brand new?
Well, I guess it depends on what your goals are. I mean, that's a constant discussion. I'm pretty sure I've heard there's discussion of maybe building some new stations and maybe expanding or renovating others. Sometimes it might be more cost effective to level it and build new. Other times it might be more cost effective to use an existing asset that you have that's in pretty good shape, make it a little bit bigger. Even some things like if you were to expand a facility to make the bays and the garages more accommodating for spec engines and equipment, so you don't have to order custom equipment that's more expensive. We can capture that savings for you too. So there's a lot to consider, and that's why I was kind of wanting to comment and say that whether it's me or somebody else, I think it would really benefit the city by having an energy advisor or some sort of engineering advisor to support that decision-making process and an overall strategy. Anything else?
Have you worked with any nearby municipalities on consolidating fire stations?
Consolidating fire stations. So that's actually becoming a newer conversation. We've done it with DPWs or Department of Public Works before. So it's a little bit of a newer conversation. In particular, like one of our customers up in Corey, we're having this conversation with them right now. Because they're older stations, and like I just said, we're running into some issues where they're trying to order new fire trucks or tankers or whatever, and they don't fit. So then they have to pay extra to have a custom, built truck fit into these old stations. So they're like, what's the cost difference to just build a new, a building, which is basically just like a storage shed or garage, in many regards, so we can get spec trucks in there and save some money. So we're currently looking at a variety of contacts and opportunities to do that, but I think more of our experiences with DPWs, if I'm being perfectly honest.
So you find that building fire stations are more cost efficient than building regular buildings?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you, the complexity of a water treatment plant or a sewer treatment plant or, a multi-use facility is gonna definitely be more expensive than, basically a hangar. You're putting up 4 walls and maybe some rooms and, enough space to pull a truck in. It's much less sophisticated.
But you could make them more energy efficient at that time.
Yeah.
That's where the savings.
Yeah, whether you wanted it to be new, we could come in and help with that too, as far as evaluating the equipment that's going in there, how the buildings are being used, help on the front end, or, remodeling existing spaces and give input on, okay, well, here's what's in place now. You can save this piece of equipment or that piece of equipment, it doesn't need to go. But as you expand, we can make recommendations on what would help as that space
So
expands.
conceivably, you could save enough to make the payments on the new through energy costs.
So historically, and I don't know if you're familiar with the energy performance contracting or the Guaranteed Energy Savings Act model that I'm referencing. Historically, self-funding projects were a thing where you could guarantee that you'd have to finance in the front end, right? But the debt payment would be made from the savings that we're guaranteeing over time. Now, a significant portion of that can be done still, but not exclusively from the energy savings. We've had to get more creative and look for savings plus utility rebates plus operational cost savings plus, to cobble together and get a lot more creative in different ways that we can save. But the legislation in Pennsylvania is very flexible compared to say New Jersey or New York as to what would count as savings for you. So I know that was a long-winded answer. Not directly from energy savings. It wouldn't be fully self-funding, but we can get very, very close and very, very creative.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Quick question, I
Yeah.
hope, and the answer may have to come from Chief Mitchell rather than you. Is there consideration as to location, the service areas, only what exists and what you see? What I'm talking about is it's a big municipality and response time is very important.
Yeah.
Does that factor all into what you talk about?
I think it should. I think
Sure, yeah. Are you doing that?
Well,
Or is that gonna
we
be
know
up
that
to
there was a
man
study that was
and his
done.
group of people?
I'm sorry.
You say it should, but I say, is that something you
That I
would
would
be
do?
doing? Or
I think that would come
We
from
do
the
it at home.
state. The state would do that. The city would do that study, and then we would take that into consideration. It's one of many elements, yes, because I think that's really what's most important to the community is you don't want to refurbish a big, a big, knock all the other ones down and
2
it
miles
takes.
apart, and a space of 10 miles
Right.
between, it's not good.
Right.
Okay.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah, that's
Thank
definitely
you.
a factor that would be taken into consideration.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Again, and I know I said this in the fall, and I know it's already past an hour of the meeting, I don't want to belabor it too much, but the reason that we think this is so advantageous for you to explore is because you don't have a lot of cash, you already have an incredible amount of debt. So how can we get you the facility that you need in a way that doesn't pinch the taxpayer and instead just reallocates money that you're already spending, just reallocating it to get the kind of things that you need. Okay, moving on to one of the next items in your strategic action plan. I am gonna pull up the screen for Lisa Schaefer. Lisa, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can share yours. And turn it over to you to talk about business improvement districts and how that can kind of marry what local government can do for community and economic development with the local control where the local businesses then actually get to run the operations in such a way that, again, it kind of takes the best of both worlds of what the local government can do and pairs it with local control, almost like a chamber of commerce or the downtown business group, which actually is an eligible entity to even manage the project potentially. So with that, Lisa, take it away.
Great, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Cool, and it looks like the presentation is up. Excellent. So thank you everyone for the chance to speak with you tonight about what a business improvement district is and what that process looks like. As Ben noted, my name is Lisa Schaefer. I'm working with Careful Strategies on these projects related to bids. So I'm going to speak to business improvement districts generally to give you information about how they're created and how they work. I know nothing on this slide is news to you. Downtown's local business, they're critical to economic and community development. So a bid is designed to improve those business conditions by creating a more attractive, organized, vibrant commercial corridor by funding targeted projects. So they could fund things like streetscape enhancements, marketing campaigns, maintenance services, with the overall goal of increasing foot traffic, attracting new customers, encouraging repeat visits to further explore the area. So by creating that more pleasant, that more cohesive environment for businesses and the visitors, those improvements can have benefits like higher property values, increased sales, a stronger business community. There's evidence from other bids that they have had that kind of positive impact across the country. Things like improved cleanliness, reduced crime rates, increased consumer spending. And they also ensure that the improvements that they're doing are closely aligned with the needs and goals of the actual business community. So they work hand in hand together. The businesses have input into how those funds are used to make sure they're aligning with the goals they have for their own businesses. Each bid is unique and the outcomes can vary, but the experience of other districts suggests that a well-managed bid can lead to a significantly improved business conditions.
Lisa, are you still on the vibe? Oh, turn back.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay. So I know the city of Dubois is in a similar area of resurgence, especially as you've been rebuilding over the last 10 plus years. New businesses are emerging downtown. Restaurants are becoming popular. There are other new shops. But there are other additional improvements to make to keep that momentum going, some of which this council, I believe, has heard some concerns about recently around lighting, window coverings, other improvements that would attract businesses to the downtown area. And there's a number of tools and resources available to help support business development. I know you've been hearing about a number of them from the Pennsylvania Downtown Center, things like the Main Street approach, resources available from DCD, how the redevelopment authority can fit in, and so on. So like I said, there can be many types of improvement districts, but today we're going to focus just on the business improvement district, talk about how it works. But in essence, like I said, it allows the local businesses to invest into the improvements and services that directly benefit them. So what is a bid? A business improvement district is a defined area that would be set out in the ordinance that it creates the bid. The businesses in that area can pay an additional assessment if that's approved, and that could fund projects and services like streetscape improvements, maintenance, marketing and branding that increase the cohesiveness of the area, other projects, sidewalks, retaining walls, street paving, parks, recreational equipment, street lighting, parking lots, parking garages, pedestrian walks, even the acquisition and rehab or demolition of blighted buildings and structures. I do want to emphasize the funds that are raised from a bid are used only for projects and services within the bid area. And it does not replace other city services. So the services that you get from the city otherwise would continue and would not be funded from the bid. This is just for those improvements that are happening within the district. That leads to a little bit of a fair and more efficient approach because it directly benefits those commercial properties within the district rather than taxing the entire city. And it puts the decision-making power directly in the hands of the representatives in that business, of the businesses in that district. So the businesses themselves have representation into how those funds are used, what investments are prioritized, and make sure that those activities are directly aligned with the needs and interests of the business community. Just some examples for your consideration. Oakland, which is in the Pittsburgh area in Allegheny County, they created a business improvement district in 1999. They've got about 250 property owners, businesses, and organizations, and theirs is set up as a public-private partnership. They have an annual bid assessment to generate revenue, as well as funding from other partners like foundations, sponsors. Theirs focuses mostly on marketing, communications, outreach, placemaking, and in as through their fiscal year 23 annual report, they noted a 6.6% year-over-year increase in total visitors to that bid area. In York, they also have a business improvement district authority. So there's a group called Downtown Inc. It's a joint venture between the authority and Main Street York, which is a separate 501. They were established back in 1998, but the authority in 98 established joint forces in 2006 because of their similar missions, goals, and objectives. They also have an assessment. They are also a Main Street community. They use their funds for things like curb appeal, market data, parking and traffic improvements, branding and marketing strategy, and so forth. And then State College, Downtown State College is actually a little different. They're a neighborhood improvement district, but the concept is the same. They have about more than 350 participating businesses doing things like bike ped infrastructure, addressing pain points in parking, connecting to outdoor events and recreation. And they are also exploring the Main Street designation as another way of funding investment. And there are others throughout the state as well. Harrisburg, Lancaster, there's a new, just outside of Lancaster, in East Lampere Township called the Lincoln Highway Business Improvement District that we help support for their commercial corridor along Route 30. So these have been used and they have been successful here in the Commonwealth. So I know one of the questions that always comes is, which properties are in a bid? While this is a general map of the downtown of the Dubois area of the city, a bid would be outlined as a defined designated area within the city. It'll be in the proposal that would create the bid. And one thing I will also note is in the statute, no matter the area, the bid can exempt residential properties from paying the assessment since it would be a business improvement district. So again, this will be laid out in the proposed plan, which I'll get to in just a minute. So who would lead the bid and what do they decide? So under the Neighborhood Improvement District Act, the ordinance the municipality would enact would set up a board, and the bid could be incorporated in one of several ways, either as a nonprofit corporation, an existing nonprofit corporation could be designated, or you could set up a municipal authority. One of the key things is that in every case, the board of the neighborhood improvement district must include a representative of property owners located in the district, business owners located in the district, and other institutional members like schools, museums, and those sorts of locations. And you don't have to be a resident of the district to be on the board either. So again, it ties back to that idea that there are representatives of that business community that is impacted by the investments of the bid on the bid to help make those decisions. That board would decide on any special property assessment fees on properties and also how those fees would be used for improvements, programs, and services in the bid. So what's the process for going forward and setting up a business improvement district? Before anything happens, the city would put together, if you decide to move forward, a preliminary plan. That plan would include a map of the bid and a list of all the properties to be assessed, a list of all the proposed improvements and their costs, so the things that you think that the bid could do and what that budget would look like for the first year. What proposed revenue sources for the improvements, including what a proposed assessment might be. The estimated time for implementation and completion of those improvements. And what's the administrative body that's going to govern and administer the bid. There is no set way that you would have to determine what an assessment looks like on those business properties. There are options in the law that include whether it's based on assessed value, based on proportion of benefits, or another method that equitably apportions costs. So there will be discussion and input to create this preliminary plan and put that into a document before any further steps would be taken for creation. Once that happens, that proposed preliminary plan must be sent to all property owners in the proposed bid area, as well as the lessees, so those who rent properties in that area. That has to happen at least 30 days before a public hearing would be held by the city on that proposed plan. It has to be properly advertised as every hearing does. I had that second public hearing in parentheses, if the city would revise that plan after the first hearing in any significant way, they'd have to send it again to the property owners and then another public hearing held on those revisions. Whichever hearing is the last hearing. Property owners in the bid have 45 days to register their objections to the bid with the city. If objections by property owners representing at least 40% of the properties within the bid make their objection in writing in that time frame, then the city cannot move forward with an ordinance establishing the bid. If that threshold is not met for objections, the city can enact an ordinance doing so with at least 7 days notice before adoption. So assuming that everything went, exactly as planned, you're looking at probably a 2 to 3 month process overall. If the city were to elect to create a municipal authority to administer the bid, then there would be additional hearings and requirements for the timing to establish that. Those can happen somewhat concurrently with the establishment of the bid, but do need to be taken into account because those have separate advertising timeframes and things like that. So really from here, the next steps is you kind of heard what the tool is. You've engaged your business owners in trying to think through what tools would be most helpful in creating that sort of investment in the downtown Dubois area. If the city does initiate action to move forward with thinking about a bid, then we'd move forward with talking about what that preliminary plan would look like, again, with plenty of input and ideas from the community. So that is all that I have at this point, Ben.
Yeah,
So I'll turn it back to you.
Yes, thank you. There's a lot of interest, I think, in the room about this, and I've also heard some like stickers and negative things too. And I wanted to say one simple thing, which was that we just completed doing a business improvement district just outside of Lancaster. And they shot it down the first time. We weren't involved. The second time, the township said, we want to at least explore this again. And they brought us in, and we met with all the property owners that were affected, well, not all of them, but actually most of them. We met with many of the ones that would be affected, built the plan, like co-authored the plan with them. It went from 50% no vote, the first vote, to 2. Because all those people that initially were so dead set against it because they thought it was just some tax that wasn't gonna affect them, changed their minds. And when we reran it, it went down to, I think there was 2 no votes. So if we co-author a solution, I'm hearing like some grumbling, but I want to tell you, council, that I don't think that should be don't even bother exploring it, because when we actually get boots on the ground and like talk to people and they see how they can have local control and how it can actually benefit their business, it changes hearts and minds. Any questions for Lisa?
Board member comments for Ben or Lisa?
Yeah, I had a question. Read where like in York, the estimated cost for a business is like 15 cents a day if their properties assessed at $50,000. So that'd be what, $15?
Yeah, some of the ones that. Well, Lisa, in Lancaster bid, what was the highest one, like $200 a year or something? It was not.
I think so. That was on a property that was assessed at like 500,000.
Right. So yes.
Most properties in downtown Dubois, that's not much.
That's correct. Yeah, this is a really pretty minimal, like, I can't promise anything, right? We would actually have to build the thing out, but when it comes to these business improvement districts, you're talking cents a day, not.
So you're not looking at a huge cost for the business owners then?
No, but the value really is that, and here's my bet, I don't know this, but my bet is that there are some properties that are really community minded and engaged in downtown and chamber and so forth and do a lot of things, and then there's some that are not. And one of the values of this is that it gets everybody mandatorily on the same page and working together. So you spread that cost and it ends up being very minimal.
Well, I think it'd be something I'd be interested in exploring more.
Okay,
But that cost is based upon whatever the project plan is, though.
exactly, which has to be co-authored.
Right.
Which is why we can't say right now what it would cost or wouldn't cost, because we would need to meet with people in order to say, what do you want to do marketing together? Do you want to do streetscape projects? Do you want to, like, what would be helpful to you to make the downtown vibrant and attractive for generations to come?
Now, this is something that we will not be voting on tonight.
Oh, no.
This is where the business people have to sit down with the management team, with the Downtown Inc. people, and come up with a viable plan. Yes or no? And that's where it comes into play. You know, do you improve the property through minimal investment of dollars that you control? We're not gonna vote on that. If I would have to read the room tonight, I would say people would hang us in effigy if we want to put a tax on our businesses. My end of the bench, you know. But you need to at least sit down, have a meeting with Ben, have a meeting with Lisa, have a meeting with your Downtown Inc. people, and talk it out.
Can I just interject? I don't have a business downtown, so, but would it be possible for this lady Lisa to come and meet with the businessmen and women here, maybe even here in this building, and they could ask all the questions that would pertain to them before we move forward or decide to.
Yeah, and I think the question for us, for the council tonight is this even worth having Lisa come up and have that meeting? Or are you not interested in exploring it at all? I mean, take it off the strategic action plan. So that's kind of your decision point is.
Well, my feeling is, to me, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other, but it's the people that have businesses that should be able to say, hey, here's the questions I got, which it sounds like you're very good at selling the plans, or Lisa is. Come down and meet with the people that it's gonna directly affect, rather than us making a decision as to whether we want to pursue it. Does that
Yeah, and actually, I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and Ben, if I could hop in there just for a second, I think there is actually another option too, which is, council kind of punts this till sometime next month. They get some feedback from the community. They can hear from, downtown business owners and get some kind of idea on, what the feeling is. And then council can make their decision from there too. So that'd be like a third round.
Go ahead, say, go ahead, Mike.
What financial obligations are there to the city will have?
Right, this will be self-sustaining long-term once it's started. But if you're asking, what does it cost the city to have Lisa drive up from Harrisburg and meet with people? It would be included in what you currently pay capital and strategies.
There's some financial obligation to the city.
Yeah, it'd be like writing ordinances, so Jason, it would be some of our time, I don't know, 6,000, 10,000.
My concern is, we don't object or oppose doing all for the improvement of the city. I do object to us sitting here and making decisions when we don't know what the cost is, until we have more up-to-date and reliable financial statements. I can't help feeling that way, committing money, that we don't know if we have.
We did build some of this into the budget. You know, this would be coming out of the professional services line item related
It's into this budget this year.
I mean, you have a general, I don't remember what the total amount was, but when you hired us and set a budget, this all falls under us. This is our team. So like, would it increase or save you if you didn't pursue this a few $1,000s? Yeah. But I mean,
Okay.
we're talking less than
And then we
10,000.
have that presentation, and again, I don't know what that meeting cost us. Yeah, but if we're talking these, I am not against them, I'm only concerned about the ability to pay for them. Not tax future generations again.
In our group, we do have business people here. My suggestion as a non-business person, reach out to Ben and Lisa, send them a note, hey, we're available, or Ben and Lisa, we're available at this date or this date. Can we all sit down and talk about it? And have a very adult conversation about it and say, is this a viable option? Is this cost effective? And can we afford it? And I think that's a discussion that you people, as business owners, small business owners, mind you, downtown business owners, need to have that conversation. And I don't think the seven of us have nickel in other than, you know, go ahead and have that meeting and see if it meets your needs. It may not. You know, and that would be entirely up to you people. It is your business.
If you have multiple properties in downtown Dubois, you have to pay on every one of those properties then?
Yes. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that, yeah.
Each one that would fall within that
Right.
set district. So you may have 3 at this end of the downtown and 2 at the other end, but if it's only for this end of the downtown, then the other 2 would be excluded.
Unless those other 2 are in the map.
Within whatever would be decided, because it not necessarily would be what the downtown footprint would be. It would be a designated specific zone of its own.
But didn't they show that on the map?
I looked at the map, but I couldn't tell.
Any
Could
further-
you facilitate Lisa coming up to meet with these people?
If council is okay with just that, then yes, we would be happy to have Lisa come up and
Do we need
and
a
have
motion?
No, I would like,
That
the
be,
business people here,
gonna have the meeting first.
how many of you would like to meet with Lisa?
Why bring her? I know I'm not allowed to talk.
No, that, you're fine. This is a discussion that concerns you.
Okay, I have a question. Why would you bring Lisa up here if we have been?
Yeah, that's fine. I can meet with you too.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one.
Can you do that? I mean, do you have that
Yeah.
expertise? Okay, well, we don't need her.
So,
We just saved ourselves a couple $1,000. All right.
if I'm reading the room right, the business people, you please reach out to Ben and Lisa. Either, you know, have that meeting, have that discussion, and go for it. Yes, ma'am?
Can I ask quick questions on comments
Yes.
about this? Okay, so I know we're still trying to finish up the consolidated zoning and code, right? So currently, we don't have an updated zoning map at all. So to add on what is called a zoning overlay, right? These bids, these business improvement districts are a zoning overlay, which goes over the existing zoning. But if we haven't finalized the new consolidated zoning, I wouldn't recommend looking into a zoning overlay until that base map is finished. Unless the consolidated map. I don't really know that,
But here's where I disagree a little bit. They're here, they'll answer the questions, and it's not costing us anything, because they're already here anyway, right? That's all I mean.
Yeah, it cost us $100.
Yeah, I mean, because he's here. For people that might have some input or have some feelings, to me, whether we have it or don't have it, I really don't care. I want what's best for the city. And you might be absolutely right. You shouldn't move forward, but there might be enough people that say, hey, I think I can benefit.
At what point do we find out the cost of it? Of like the increase of per month and whatnot?
Then question.
Yeah.
Good
so
question.
In terms of timeline or in terms of how much it would?
How
affect
much
you?
it-
Yeah, so doing that model is the main cost of, when I said it costs like $6,000 or something, us building that map and modeling it is the main part of that cost. And so I couldn't tell you exactly how much it would be until we've done the modeling. And to do that, we would have to have that meeting to understand what it is that you would want out of it. So, it would be probably several months from now. It would definitely be before you would vote on whether, vote is probably not the right word. Before you decide whether you're going to object. Because if 40%, as I assume Lisa said, is 40% of you object, then it dies. And so you would have that model before that 45 days.
Is that counted by number of lots that you own?
Yes.
Hang on. Yes.
I have a question. Now, I don't know if this is the right question, but it seems to me as though Catherine Group is you, correct?
Yeah.
So you want us to go with your group so you make money?
This is about
This is
completing,
selling a product that you're selling, correct?
it's
Cap-
included in what we already do, but yes.
Well, I'm just asking. I'm a business owner.
Mhm.
So it sounds to me like you're selling us, you want us to buy your product, maybe before you're out of here, I don't know. But I do have my question time, I still get my question text was on this, right?
I have your
I know,
motion.
call on me, call on me.
I have not
I'm so
forgotten.
positive.
I would love to answer that, because
Oh,
that's just
yeah.
a split
I'm sorry,
second to
Stephanie.
answer it, which is, no, I'm not particularly interested in adding more work to our load.
Okay.
We would like to get out of here, actually. However, we are currently your contracted management team, and this is part of, you asked us to help you build a strategic action plan. This is one of the things we think you should explore, and so it's like a mandate that we have to explore it with you. We are not particularly looking for more work. Frankly, we are overworked here, and we have far more work outside of this community too. So, no, this is not like I'm trying to sell my wares.
All right, well, I had to ask.
Yeah.
Be responsible.
Got it?
Once there's a development plan, can it change, like, so once you fix the downtown curb appeal, does it change for the next year? Is it always curb appeal and like you're set to pay that forever?
So what can change is what you spend the money on. And Lisa, you remind me, I don't think they can change the assessment, right? The ordinance would set what the highest assessment could be. And then you guys control where that money goes year to year.
And there's like a directing board that would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall, I think you are correct that the city can send ordinance that kind of maybe caps the assessment, but I think that the board, and again, once that was said, I think the board ultimately makes the decision on what that assessment be. But of course, we want to be at least close to what's in the preliminary plan, because that's the assumption that you all are going on and what's happening there.
Yeah, Lisa, I know, Lisa, I do know, like in the York City model, where they have the authority, council sets what the bid assessment is. There's a proposal from Downtown Inc. where they come and say, we think it should be set at this, and then they set it for 10 years at a time.
Okay.
And so it's set by council 10 years at a time, and then Downtown Inc. kind of decides how that money is spent with the input of the community, obviously. But for instance, in York, we always do, there's a cleanup crew that goes around downtown and sweeps every day, 24/7. So like that's something that that assessment's spent on. Another one is they're doing they're putting new trees downtown, stuff like that. So it can,
oh no.
It can vary from site to site. Just so you know that, because I was on the.
Shirley would like to be recognized, please.
We can let Jason finish. I just wanted to say, I spoke with Lisa on the phone last week, and thank you for taking the time for my phone call last week. And I've spoken with, met many of the business owners. And as the downtown executive director, my job is to advocate for the wants and needs of our business owners. And repeatedly I heard, and I understand because I see it and I hear it and I know the struggles that each of you are facing. And at this time, $20 seems like a make or break for several of these businesses. They need to see a plan that they will benefit from, and not a proposed plan that money is taken from them, but that obligation isn't fulfilled to their liking and their specification. With that, I can see where there could be a benefit. I'm just gonna throw this out, but I fully support what my business owners ultimately want. Kathleen, I heard you say about the $10 Hop and Shop. We don't get money for marketing. We don't get money. My president is actually sitting here. Funding it's a matter of charging the businesses to help offset the cost of marketing, and she had said marketing and communications would be something that would go towards.
That's what I
So that
said.
would be a
We
benefit.
can't even afford a $10 Hop and Shop.
Right.
That's what I said.
But that would also allow the businesses, so they wouldn't have to be paying that out. It would already be included. Blight. So there was a blight assessment done with Core Services, which is a division of the Pennsylvania Downtown Center. And the blighted businesses or blighted buildings are actually outside of the downtown. So there are a lot of things that I don't foresee being of any benefit, real benefit. Again, flowers, trees, sidewalks, lampposts, we've got enough of those as well. But another thing that I caught on with her was parking garage. That is another thing that businesses may want to explore. But again, I can see that being an excessive tax, and I can't support that. I can't support that with my businesses. I need to see them not just survive, but thrive. So I do want everybody to take the information back and process it as you need to. And if you would like to, and ultimately we'll have Ben speak more with all of you. But I support all of you and your concerns. And personally, at this time, I'm not seeing anything. I would like, maybe one of you have a better idea or suggestion. I don't know, but I don't see at this time the need for it. So that's where I stand on this.
Business owners, contact Ben, set up a meeting, set your agenda, make a decision.
For all the
Thank you.
business owners though, wouldn't it be easier for like him to set the meeting for the business, say, okay, here's the businesses, this is gonna be the meeting, instead of like Kathleen reaching out and then us reaching out, so you're not having 15 different meetings.
I think of one of my favorite lunch spots that I'd like to just have that.
We can have that.
Okay, thank you very much. That was, again, that was great. We went back and forth. Everybody had an opinion. We're ready to move forward under unfinished business, please. And we're ready to talk about ordinances and setting fees, and Ben and Jason and Ben will be speaking on those matters.
Okay, the first ordinance on your agenda is number 5, and this is setting those fees. Pretty much all of them were already set by a resolution earlier in the year, as we went over the last meeting, and I don't want to belabor it, 'cause it's getting late. You set these fees by resolutions after the consolidation of the city. It also then has to be converted into an ordinance to make it binding long-term. That's what this does. So it's been properly advertised. and is up for vote tonight.
Thank you very much. Looking for a motion to approve Council Bill 005, 2026.
So move.
So moved by Mark, second by Bill. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same for no, motion passed. Jason, handicap parking?
You're muted, Jason, if you're talking.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last meeting. There had been a change. This had been on the agenda back in the fall. And since then, there's been a legislative change that allows handicap parking spaces to be assigned specifically to a plate number or an address. And so this ordinance reflects that. And the one from the fall actually never ended up passing. So this would allow folks who qualify for a handicap license plate to be able to apply with the city. The application will very basic. Basically, if you qualify for a handicap license plate, you're going to qualify for a handicap parking spot. The key is there are limits as far as how many you can have on certain blocks or in a certain area, so that it doesn't impede overall parking too much. That's all in the ordinance, but the short version is it has been, I think, something that rarely the state legislature has listened to what people have said about the prior handicap parking statute, have listened, made some changes that made sense, and so here we are with this one.
So this has been properly advertised and it's up for vote.
Looking for a motion to approve ordinance number 6, Council Bill 006, 2026.
So
That's a
move.
good thing, I'll move it.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Mike, seconded by Dick. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion passed. Thank you very much. Legislation about super load fees for 2026.
Again, this is about the third time. I think we probably talked about this when big trucks with super loads come into town. We end up escorting them. We have to do a lot of paperwork and stuff with them. This authorizes us to inspect those super loads and then escort them and then bill them for it. This has also been properly advertised and ready for vote.
Thank you very much. Looking for a motion to approve ordinance number 7, Council Bill 007, 2026.
So move.
By Bill, second by Mark. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same for no, motion passed. Thank you very much. Ready to move into other legislative actions.
So the LRTA amendments, we're not voting on tonight. That will be in 2 weeks. Again, that is consolidating, updating, expanding the LRTA from Sandy and from the old city. Again, no action tonight, so just, again, public awareness. Next is.
Yeah, and just a reminder on that too, Ben, there will be a public hearing on the 15th as well regarding LRTA. So if anybody wants to come talk about it or support it or you know, say what they don't like about it, come on out. That's your day to do it.
Also meeting with the school district leadership on that in a couple of weeks and the county, I think, next week. Recreation Authority, I know we've talked extensively about that in previous meetings as well. That did get advertised for vote on May 6th. Next, this is probably the one last thing that people really care about tonight, the water and sewer rates. So there are a few changes that this ordinance would make. Number one is, we've heard even tonight, people who have consternation over, like, why is my bill the way it is? How do I go from zero usage, zero to 1,000? Like, that's not real. You're right, on the back end, it's tracking real numbers, but it rounds down, or in some cases rounds up, to get you your minimum bill. So here are some of the things that we are changing with this, having heard from the people. Number one, there was confusion about the water rates and the sewer rates not matching, meaning, you know, I forget exactly the number, but you know, if I used 100,000 gallons hypothetically of water, why is it that the tiers don't match on the sewer side? So we mirrored that. So now it's tiered and the water and sewer actually match up. Number two, before in the township, there was a minimum bill. There was not in the city. And we went with the township model. And that ended up causing a lot of the city residents to suddenly get minimum bills of $16 for 1,000 gallons, whether or not they used a gallon or not. This new model will go off of actual meter usage. And so if you use 600 gallons or 1 gallon or 0 or 882, you would get actually billed for the gallon that you use. I will give you a caveat, which is that some of the old meters in the city and or township may inhibit our ability to do that for each individual person. Some of them need to be reprogrammed, some of them need to be updated, some of them need to be calibrated, need batteries replaced, etc. And so I'm not saying that 100% everyone is going to be happy, but this will capture the majority. Next, this ordinance will keep the water rates the same that they are. Again, those of you that are upset that you're getting that minimum $16 for 1,000, like that's gonna go down to whatever your actual usage is. But there was no wiggle room on that. It's still going to be $16 for that first 1,000. It's just proportional. So again, if you use 600, then, or make the math easier. If you use 500, then you'll get a bill for $8. That said, per 1,000, it is still 16. There was no wiggle room. There is no fat there. It is what it is. That said, on the sewer surcharge side, we were able to lower that a little bit. And so that'll go down for the average residential user from $20 to $15. So that'll be a little bit of relief. And then it tiers back to the way the old city did by the larger the water meter, the higher the fee for the debt service, which is what allows us to lower that sewer debt service fee for the average user. So it's kind of a complicated project. It's been a very complicated project. My thanks to Jason Sable, our solicitor, to Sean Arbaugh, who had a lot of institutional knowledge, to Joe Mitchell, who helped with some of the modeling, Chris Nasuti, who helps with the kind of engineering side of things, Dana Boley, Matt Johnson, even Zach. Pretty much everybody on this team had a hand in fixing this thing and getting it to where it is. So you're not asking for a vote tonight. That'll be on the 15th. But I did want to give an update that we've heard you on all the concerns about it. I'm sorry that we're not able to lower the water more. But really, that is as tight a budget as it could be. And we already have a little bit of heartburn over being able to make it. So at the same time, I hope that a lot of people's concerns are alleviated by at least going to actual billing. So we don't get the questions of why is it 0001, 0003, like what's happening. That will be fixed going forward as best we can with the limitations of the software that we are using. The next is again, we passed the resolution back in January for the garbage collection. This codifies it in an ordinance, so that's not Council Bill number 11. That would also be up for a vote on the 15th to take effect in your April bill that will go out in the beginning of May. And then the last No. So I'm saying we end up billing for the previous month. So right now in April we're billing for March usage. And then the last thing would be Environmental Advisory Council. We talked about that in January. We just got around to drafting up the legislation. So those three, the water rates, the garbage fee, and the Environmental Advisory Committee, I do need the council to take action on authorizing us to advertise those so that you can vote on them on the 15th.
Motion we authorize to advertise.
Motion to advertise, second by Mike. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed. New business.
First one was yours.
That's wonderful. Under public comments, folks, I will tell you this, I watched Corby. No one spoke longer than, by my calculation, 4 minutes. Nobody jumped another topic. Corby showed me the yellow card twice. By the time she had it up, we were done. I just think that that's wonderful. If you have other topics you want to come speak about, we welcome that. But right now, I'm going to entertain a motion that
Can
we
I
change.
talk about that?
Yes, just
Thank
a second, Mike. I'm almost ready for you. Oh, almost. I'm gonna bring to the table a motion to, 5 minutes total. Mike,
Okay, I heard comments out here.
Go ahead, you're on.
A whole lot of satisfaction. So I'm gonna ask this question. Currently, it's a 3 minute.
3 minutes.
How was that established? By resolution?
That was established by the prior,
So there is a
council.
resolution that, okay.
You passed a resolution at the reorg meeting in January.
Okay, so there is a resolution that. Now, this resolution then will obviously obsolete that resolution.
Correct.
So anytime that we want to add 60 seconds or take 60 seconds, we gotta go through an almost something like a divorce decree, right? Right?
I think that's a little excessive.
Counting minutes and people can talk. I would like to hear the solicitor's comment. Here's my question.
Jason, the question is, do we have to rewrite the resolution every time we want to change the number of maximum minutes? And by the way, there is a clause in there that allows the chairman to allow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's a clause in there that allows the chairman, if there's an extra lot of people or not as many people, you can allow them extended time or less time.
Bill.
My question is why are we trying to limit now? We've been running on the 3 minutes here per topic. I think it's been fine. Yeah, we did have a little issue last month. But the thing is, let the people speak till they get comfortable with us. We're all new going into this. They have questions because they do feel uncertain from before. And I feel that we should table it and let's see how the next couple months progress and see where we go with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
if 3 minutes isn't enough for you, bring a friend. You get 6 bring 2 friends. Yeah, you get 9 minutes. That's what you should try to do. I don't want it every 60 days. See time here and discuss how many minutes we hear.
Comments down this end of the table. Listen, I'm not trying to limit, but yes, I am.
Yeah, you are.
On one hand, the one speaker had 10 pages front and back. And how much is enough? Bill says until we get comfortable. Mike says, bring a friend. I'll entertain a motion that we, at this time, limit it to 5 minutes. If there's a second, so do it. If not, listen, you're not gonna break my heart, because I'm a big boy. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. So, we have a second by Dick Whitaker. We'll have a rule, pardon me.
Who was the first?
I made the
Barry.
motion.
Oh, Barry.
Legally, can I make the motion? Thank you.
It's not advisable, but it's legal.
Second by Dick. Roll call vote, please.
Spears,
No.
DeRuge,
Yes.
Malika,
Yes.
Piccirillo,
No.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Abbott.
Yes. Motion passed. Awarding the paving and concrete. Ben, we put out bids for concrete and paving.
Scott.
Yeah, this is what we do every year. We do a lot of water leaks and different things on concrete roads. And we end up with a lot of curb repair and different things. So that's why we have the concrete contract out. And then with the blacktop, now we're merged everything. We do have access to a paver with the township, but I don't know if you've noticed how bad our roads are after this past winter and the abuse. Our intent would probably be to use that blacktop contractor a lot less, but we have some serious situations out there. For example, is Clear Run Road. We got a massive paving job out there. So we like to have him on there as a backup, so our paver goes down or something, because we do most of our paving towards the end of the season. So it's a crunch, but I'd recommend, and it was Dave Ward's opinion, that we proceed and award those two of those bids.
Scott, did you have multiple people that?
No, they're actually the only two.
Really?
Yeah, and they were reasonable.
Mhm.
I mean, we looked at in case we needed to reject them, but no, they're right in line.
Okay.
And Scott, who are you recommending for concrete
Concrete would be Clear Run Concrete,
and paving?
BK Asphalt.
Looking for a motion
So
by
moved.
Bill, second by Mike. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passed. Thank you very much. Closing. Before we go to closing, Ben, do you have anything?
Public comment.
We'll come back to you. Here we go, public comments. And first up, Maria. Are you? Dorzega, would you like to speak?
I already did.
You're done?
Thank you. Oh,
Thank,
yeah.
thank you very much. I appreciate that. Donna,
Yes.
yes, ma'am, you're up. And you would like to speak, you have questions, deplorable.
Gonna get any answers.
I got you.
My name's Donna Work. I live on Maloney Road, Township.
Cindy.
Last week, or the last meeting, they had, you had a guy named Bill Arrowwood, who also did a presentation about beautification downtown. My question is, just like with the presentations tonight, how much would something like that gonna run the city when we're crunched for money already? Like I said, I'm not gonna get an answer. My other thing is, everybody's aware of what happened several years ago and the ongoing case about a council member. My question is, were there, if any, steps put into place to prevent something like that coming about again? Anybody want to respond?
I can say
Are
it as a
you
council
speaking of a
person.
council member? You said a council member?
Well, I can say the names.
No, I
please.
don't want a name.
No,
You said the
no.
council member is what you're speaking of. Council member.
Yeah.
It's a man.
Yeah,
He's a
the
manager.
manager,
All right,
yeah.
So we don't.
And there's been
Now we don't-
steps, even the council, we always harp on that transparency. And we always make sure there's double, triple check. And with this governance committee, you can ask the committee members. I harp on it a lot and they all do too.
Mhm.
That there will be a lot of,
Yeah, you-
safety measures in there to,
You can say
Make
that,
sure.
but is there anything in writing?
oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
That's why it's gonna be in writing.
Okay,
We're gonna have big catalogs.
okay. I have a road that I want looked at. I believe it's Smithfield Street, runs in front of the Sandy Hose Company.
Yeah, that is.
And it's behind where the Penn Highlands Pharmacy is. You know, you come out of the Penn Highlands Pharmacy, go down this one little road, and then you go
Yeah.
into Smithfield.
Forest. It's Forest Avenue.
Forest Avenue.
Yeah, right where the
Okay.
creek goes over.
Okay.
Yeah, the
I'm
bumpy
sure-
road.
Uh-huh, I'm sure you're aware of the crater in that road.
Up towards the top, Scott. Right up by the duplex.
It's like a manhole maybe in the middle, and it's all sunk in like this. You have to go around the edge of the crater to get around that road. So I would like to see that looked into with your paving contracts. Another thing I want to talk about is, can we anyway look at the census that was done last year for around this city? And see how many people, the percentage of people who are over 65 and on fixed incomes that are this tax base. I want to see those numbers. Because it seems like we're like more retired people than we are young people in this area. And we're being taxed out the wazoo. Can't afford it. So I'd like to see some census data on those numbers. And I want to know this Jason Sobel, that is the
Mhm.
city solicitor now, is that a selected, or was that a? Yeah,
Yeah, he's on there. You could talk directly to him. if you want.
okay. He was hired by this council, is that how that goes?
That is
It's-
correct.
Yep.
Okay, all right, I didn't know how he got
That is
on there,
It was put out for bid, ma'am.
There
Okay.
were proposals.
Yeah.
okay. And also, at the last meeting, Mr. Malika, you mentioned about the city of Altoona having a municipal authority for their water works.
Yes, I did.
Same.
Yeah, Mr. Malika.
Well,
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what Sandy Township had, was a municipal authority. So what's the difference between what this new city has and a municipal authority?
You want me to answer that?
Well, I mean, actually, I don't think we should be having a back and forth.
Oh, okay,
You should
right.
probably
That's a lot,
respond during
yeah.
your board comments.
Yeah, okay.
All right? I think that's my list for today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And last but not least, yes, ma'am, Kathleen Clement, I have a little mark here that you're going to speak.
Well, Kathleen Clement, 718 Chestnut Avenue, Dubois, Pennsylvania. Business owner, 3 West Long Avenue, Dubois, Pennsylvania. Executive Director of Nonprofit Senior Center, 120 West Park Avenue. I'm getting old. Dubois. Number one, my first question is, how many businesses or property owners were notified of the bid informational meeting tonight? Were all the businesses notified of it? Not on a Facebook post, but were they given a paper? Were they notified of this informational meeting? That's one question. You don't have to answer them, I guess. Are you allowed to answer? Or is this just a question? Okay, never mind. I want to make sure that everyone was notified, because I'm shocked that there aren't more business owners, property owners here, because they probably didn't even know about it. Number one. 2. If you go with bid, does that eliminate Shirley's position as Downtown Inc.? Because if we're giving our monies to bid, why would the city give any monies to Downtown Inc.? Just a question. Okay. God, I have so many notes now. So in other words, the city would be, the businesses would be funding bid, and that would eliminate the city funding the Downtown Inc. for sure. Right? So actually, with this, Shirley has a conflict then in any discussion in this, because she is the director of Downtown Inc. And we're talking about monies, going to her, not going to her. And how many businesses do we have in we don't even know the zone yet. So I would like to know that information. How many businesses would be in that area? And would a nonprofit also be included in the bid description or whatever, nonprofits? And who has final say in this? Is it the business owners? Is it the property owners? Is it city council? Is it bid? Who is it? Who has the final say in if this is going to go or not? Is it, like you said, you talked about 40% of businesses in the town that, oh, yeah, that's what it took to put a tax on the businesses. So who has final say? City council, business owners, or Cafferlin Group? That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no other people on my agenda to speak. I will acquiesce to our management team for comments.
Briefly, so because this may not pertain to everybody, and I know it's getting late, I'll rapid fire respond to some of those. How many businesses were notified? I believe we notified all the ones that were in this downtown corridor. Not every business in the entire city, because it would not affect them. If you went with the bid, would it do away with the downtown association? It certainly would not, they're separate, like, the question, I think, would be, would they partner or not? So one of the things that the businesses could suggest is that we would like to fund the downtown group through this, but maybe not as well, which is, by the way, leading into, is it a conflict for Shirley to even discuss it? No, because we have no idea what the plan would even be. And furthermore, she's insulated by her board because she has a nonprofit board that's over her, so she is allowed to have these discussions for sure. How many businesses are in the zone? Don't know, because we don't know what the zone is. Would a nonprofit be included? If they are already past the pub test and they're not being taxed with property tax, then they would not be included, but they are encouraged because they would benefit from it to contribute in some way. If you are a nonprofit that's still paying property tax, though, you would contribute just because it's assessment based. And then who has the final say? Ultimately, the property owners are the ones that have the final say because they are the ones that get to object. And so if 40% object, the thing dies. And again, if we were to co-author a solution that was satisfactory to them, that was actually something that they wanted, I don't think that would happen because it would be a thing that they are pursuing and they are promoting and wanting to fund. So there's a lot that still needs to be decided before really any of those could be definitively answered. I think most of the other public comments were answered in that moment. So I don't have anything else that needs to come before the board until the April 15th meeting. I'll ask if Lisa does.
I just want to answer the segregation of duties question. Councilmember Pierce mentioned that we are planning to have all these things in place in a big document, but we actually have them in place now. We have a lot of safeguards in place internally to have segregation of duties within the roles that we perform in the finance department. So, if you want to know more about that, give me a call and I'll tell you about it.
Chief, anything?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Zach?
Nothing, sir.
Chief?
No, sir.
Yeah, I'll say a couple of things. The street sweepers are out. There's just a lot of debris from the winter. It's gonna take a while to get there, where it normally takes them 1 or 2 trips down the road. It's taking about 3 or 4. And that means they gotta go dump it a lot more. So it's taking a lot longer for the street sweeper to get where it needs to go. So please be patient. It is coming. Both of them are out, going everywhere they normally go. In the past, your manhole there is on the list. We have a bunch of catch basins that have actually collapsed. So where your hole has a bottom to it, some of the other ones don't, so they're getting fixed first. We got the water crew out and a bunch of breaks we've had lately. And the final thing and the biggest thing, as of today, all the sewage flow is flowing into the new wastewater treatment plant.
Yay!
It's a long way from being done, but we are treating and processing and everything. Shit away. Okay? So.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are now officially having a good conversation. Hey, Scott, do we have any potholes in the city?
I think just the one she mentioned.
Okay, good. Let's go to board member comments. Nick?
I'm good.
Sam? Mark?
I'm good, but I do want to throw a thank you out to Cole and Lisa for the presentations tonight.
Sure.
Oh, okay. I do have a couple things. I want to answer the one lady's question about Bill Arrowwood. It is not a fee to the city. Bill Arrowwood, actually, the Main Street program, Downtown Dubois Inc., we pay them. So it is not something the city pays, but we do pay them. We have a membership with that organization. They help assist us. They also do, they advocate for funding at the state level for us, various different things.
Like grants?
Yes, yes. But Bill was here to provide a presentation just as one of the cogs on the wheel as part of economic development throughout the city. As Ben had said at that meeting, it was just to show that there are these other entities that are involved with economic development, not just the city. So he was just speaking on that to bring light to the public, just what they do and how it's integrated in what we're doing. I do want to thank everybody that came out for our hop and shop for the downtown this past weekend. It was a fun weekend, and I hope the businesses that participated enjoyed the turnout. We had a good time with the kids. We had 50, 60 kids for the egg hunt. Not even sure for the brunch with the bunny, but thank you for everybody coming out and participating in that. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter.
Thank you. Bill?
Just want to thank Scott's crew. I think they're doing a heck of a job because the road's pretty rough. I mean,
Things are bad.
Getting them there. Yeah. Chief Rajalik, did you guys get the dog then? I see.
He's on his way.
He's on his way.
Yes, yes.
Can you bring him to one of the council meetings, please?
I will run that by our
Show and tell
canine
here.
handler.
Yes,
Let's
please.
have the community see.
Yes.
See the dog when it's not getting bit, you know? Thank for everybody coming. I want to, please keep coming out. Ask your questions. That's why we're here. That's why you guys voted us in, Come out and ask. Keep coming.
Looking at the clock, I'm gonna be brief because with the stipend, we're gonna break the minimum wage off. The time we spent, it's below it. By the way, we don't do it for the stipend. We do it for you people. But Lisa, how far away from the 24 audit material in our hands?
We're still gathering some data today.
Pardon me?
We're still gathering some data today.
Okay. And from either one of the managers, would you take 2 minutes and explain to the people what an executive session is? People misinterpret that, like it's a secret meeting in some ways, but that's not exactly. Would you mind doing that?
Sure. And Jason, if you wanted to weigh in, feel free. The question is essentially, what is an executive session? In short, is it?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
So, executive session is something for council. It's really to provide information to council. They never make any decisions inside an executive session, and they're limited to certain things. For instance, personnel issues, any outstanding legal lawsuits, legal strategy. If for some reason the city wanted to buy some real estate, that would be an executive session because you don't want everyone to know what you're willing to pay for something. So it's limited and it's laid out by statute exactly how many things you can do in executive session. I think there's 7 things total. But yeah, so that's what happens when people are in executive session. And under the Sunshine Act, the council has a responsibility to inform the public when they have had an executive session. So that's why usually at the beginning, you hear the mayor say we had an executive session on April 1st, or we plan to have an executive session on April 1st after the meeting. So that's what it is.
Thank you, because people do misinterpret that. Comments, well, they had to decide that, and there are no decisions. Right. Thank you very much.
Anything else, Mike?
That's it.
My turn. Thank you very much. Well, listen, we had a great discussion tonight. We had a couple chuckles. We had some very serious discussions about our business people. We had some serious discussions about people that have.
Like all the streaming services, you guys want to put something on.
What that is.
I don't know.
Anyway, from the bottom of my heart, if we can produce some positive imagery and you have something that you would like to share that we can share with the board and others, please send it. Because again, we as a board, we as a management team, we as our staff, are doing everything we can to put a positive spin on Dubois. Negative is a no in our book. We have to move forward. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Motion to adjourn.
No.
Bill?
Executive, we're going in the
Executive
executive.
session.
Oh, we cannot adjourn. We are going to executive session.
We're not taking any action, so you can go ahead and adjourn. It's fine.
We are-
All in favor, say aye.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thanks, Shirley.